Alright guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Now there's been some brand new Pokémon Legends Z-A footage that has dropped today. There was a brand new demo, a 1-hour demo that has been given to some kind of influencers and big names in the community. Your typical game reviewers like IGN, GameSpot, people like Cerebi in the Pokemon community have had access to this footage and were at the event. And it was in the Eiffel Tower, by the way, which is awesome considering this game is based in Lumiose, based on Paris. Very cool little link to the location of the game, but there's been a bunch of new details and kind of just more in-depth stuff that we can look at based on this gameplay coming out, and a bunch of channels have posted this. A few I've already mentioned. We are looking at a channel called Nintendo World, which have kind of just uploaded the footage in one batch, and we're going to dive into what we've learned from this footage. So let's play this. You can see that the player is navigating just the streets of Lumiose. It looks, I don't know if it's like a placebo effect, but it looks better every time I see this game, and I'm more and more excited to play it. You see here, there's a situation where there are 2 enemy Houndours. Now, the trainer has a Watchog. I love the running animation of Watchog here. It looks like a kind of awkward 100-meter sprinter, but you can see that one of the Houndours is attacking the human player, whilst the other one was occupied with the Watchog. And that means that, much like Legends Arceus, we have to worry about our own health as the trainer and our Pokemon's health as well, and our team's health. You can still only send one Pokemon out per, at a time, it would seem, even in the wild areas. But it's a little bit different from Legends Arceus because, of course, we have the element where everything is real time. You still had time to strategize in Legends Arceus. You still had time to select your move. And so this is a graduation from that chaos, I suppose, that was introduced in Legends Arceus, where everything now is happening with a reactive mindset. So you have to make sure you survive and your Pokemon survives at the same time. You're thinking about 2 things at once. It's about multitasking, and it's about making the right maneuvers for both you and your Pokemon. So 2 Houndours, and then there's a really funny bit that's coming up. All right, that's coming later, but we now have some nighttime footage of the Z-A Royale, and we see a little bit more about the kind of items and how they are just in the street during the nighttime. You see the player picking up some prize medals here, and there's Pokeball items. That was actually a Pokeball, because, you know, sometimes the Pokeball icon historically has resembled any item. They seem to have different kind of like overworld sprites here. For some reason, we go back to the Houndour situation. We see the battle, the status effects coming in, and then this is the funny bit I was talking about. Apparently, from a lot of the accounts of the people that have played this new 1-hour demo, this Alpha Houndour, which is sleeping behind a taxi, is a brutal enemy to take down. Really difficult. So the Alpha Pokemon are going to be scary fights. Not that this is particularly a horrifying game, but if you remember Legends Arceus, when you saw that red eye in the Alpha Rapidash, in the Alpha Snorlax early on, it was a scary time. You wanted to stay away. You knew that Pokemon, the first time you saw it, was going to be considerably higher level and considerably stronger than your team at that time. So I think that's the same here, and this kind of looks like it's purposely positioned behind a taxi so that if you go into a certain area and trigger it, it will chase you. We don't actually see the footage, not that I've seen across all of the channels that I've watched yet, but we have to watch out for that one. Apparently there was also an Alpha Pikachu, which means you will be able to get an Alpha Mega Raichu if you get the DLC, either Raichu X or Raichu Y. Anyway, we just have a little bit more insight into the battle mechanics and how everything looks and plays out in a new area. This is a Spritzy versus a Totodile. We still haven't seen the evolved form of any of the starters, despite this Totodile being at level 25. I would assume that it is just standard Totodile, Croconaw, for Alligator, and that applies to all of the starters, and then it's the Mega form. Allegedly, they're going to get Megas, which is going to be different. So I don't expect to see like a Hisuian Typhlosion or a Colossian for Alligator, for example. But if we skip through this footage, we see more just like back streets, and you see how this actually, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Paris. I've been like twice, I think, and it does actually genuinely look a little bit like Paris, or quite a lot, to be fair, like Paris. And this does look like, it's some of the worries that I had about the game being set in Lumiose. It does look quite immersive. It does defeat that problem that was with Scarlet and Violet, where everything was barren and copy and pasted, and it does create a little bit more of an interesting space to navigate when we sort of go through all these different streets and stuff. And the textures of the cobbles actually look better and better each time I see this game. By the way, Cleffa, a new Pokemon that we didn't necessarily know was in the game, is going to be in the game, which I'll give you 5 seconds if you want to click away, because this is a little bit of a reference to the leaks that we have seen through Centro and stuff. But this potentially is a little hint towards Clefable getting a Mega. And if the design that I've seen is anything to go by, that is going to be an amazing Mega to get your hands on, just visually in terms of the design. A lot more just battling and different moves that we see here. We saw Flame Wheel there, which looked awesome. And the Victory, we've already seen this before, but just it's cool to see it in different settings and with different backdrops. You can see the double currency here. So you've got the points, which is how you rank up, I believe. Then you've got the medals, which at the end of a night of a ZA Royale, that will convert into money. So that's what those two currency systems are for. And if we move on, we actually see this new setting, which is an interior, which is so just like anime coded, but also you can see that this guy is using a Simisear, and the interior of this place, wherever this is, looks awfully a lot like the Striaton Gym in black and white. So it looks like they're essentially trying to like practice design. I mean, this looks awesome. They're not practicing. This is a fully executed great interior. I enjoy some of the animations, which looks a bit more smooth, of some of the kind of crowd members or the people that are kind of cheering on the battle taking place. I wish they mixed up the behavior and the animations of them a little bit more. It looks good, but when it's just looped over and over, it looks a bit unnatural. But you're not supposed to be focusing on that. It's all about the battle, which looks nice. It looks clean. I love the lighting on the Pokemon in this interior space. And this trainer class appears to be a new one that I don't think we've seen before. Some sort of butler or chef or something. And he looks great. I think the models of the characters generally have progressed from the previous Gen 9 game, which is Scarlet and Violet. And this guy actually finally looks like a character who has a proper nose. I mean, we'll see in a second that the design that I mean, he doesn't have any nostrils, so God knows how he breathes through that thing. But we'll see here, like, this is the only gripe that I've got. This looks like a good character model. And I've said this all the time we've seen, every instance we've seen of the main character and some of the important characters. I like the character models and the lighting and the design of them and stuff like that. The only thing that takes me out of it a little bit, and I get it's a Nintendo game, is that just why are the noses like these clay model protrusions? Why can't they create like a proper nose? The Switch 2 system can do that now, so potentially Gen 10 will have a little bit of a development. We have the Omni Tooth that we spoke about last time as well. But if you look at a game like a Nemo, you see the characters have this exact same style. You don't need to change the style up from the kind of, you know, Japanese-inspired anime JRPG style of a character. It's great. It works. It's perfect. But the nose just bothers me. Anyway, without getting too much, without focusing too much on minor details and being pedantic in a sense, we will progress this to a new rogue battle, which we see. So you can see that beyond the Mega Absol battle that we saw in the last demo, there is also a Mega Victory Bell battle that the people that played this new demo got the chance to do. And we see some of the moves that it uses and stuff. By the way, these are confirmed now to be plus moves, which basically means that I think if you click the plus button, they just do a slightly more powered up version of that once they charge. I'll be interested to see how that plays and feels in your hand when you're playing the game. But we have the moves of this rogue Mega Victory Bell. That Vine Whip looks brutal. I can imagine that feels quite devastating if you get hit by that, especially as the human player. He actually did just get spanked there by that, which there was no real reaction from the player, but he definitely took damage. You see that right there? Just getting absolutely cracked across the face by a massive rogue Mega Victory Bell's vine. That is gonna be sore in the morning. And this actually apparently, based on, by the way, that move looked really, really cool. But this is apparently a lot harder than the Absol battle, according to people that played both demos. So you can imagine that these boss battles get progressively harder and harder as the game moves on. Now, what move is that? I didn't see it come up. I think it might have been like a bullet seed or something, but you can see the evolution from those boss battles in Legends Arceus when you have to fight like Hisuian Lilligant, Hisuian Arcanine. It is an evolution from that, but there's a little bit more real-time jeopardy, as we've spoken about already. And in this particular instance, you actually have one of your friends battling alongside you, which is interesting, and she pops up with some awesome dialogue, which I really like how the dialogue pops up on the left with various characters at various moments. And then we've already seen this Mega Absol battle, but apparently that was in the new demo as well. And that's pretty much everything that we saw in this particular gameplay dump that's been posted onto YouTube today, and it's gotten me very much excited for the game. I was particularly pleased to see this new, I'd love to see more areas like this that are unique, that are different. I think this looks really detailed, and they've taken care to really design like an interior space. You can see they've got attention to the woodwork. Yes, elements of this are copy and pasted, but it looks nice and smooth. There's some texture on it, there's really good lighting, and it really looks like a, you know, pretty modern game. And you can see that the Pokemon franchise is going in a really positive direction visually overall, even if this is still a little bit behind what we might expect. But it seems that everybody who's played this and played this brand new demo is really enjoying themselves and has nothing really bad to say about the gameplay and the experience. What I would say is some people have cited how the fact that you have to defeat every single Pokemon before you capture it, or at least that you can afford to defeat the Pokemon before you capture it, makes the whole notion of catching Pokemon a little bit easier. And some people have said that, well, it was specifically IGN that said that removal of like trying to get the enemy Pokemon's health down to just the red, there's kind of an art in that in traditional Pokemon games, and the removal of that, just allowing you to defeat it, and being able to catch any Pokemon that you've defeated, takes away something from that old kind of method of just trying to, you know, false swipe and stuff like that, where you used to get it to 1 HP and catch it. Anyway, I'm not bothered about that kind of stuff, and there's also some people that kind of noted that the new battle system is obviously completely different from traditional Pokemon, but both of those things are things that I'm personally very, very excited about, and we've spoken about this before, guys. But I don't know whether they are going to do this in Gen 10 or not. Is this the new direction for all Pokemon games, or is this just specifically restricted to the Legends series? I would hope the latter. I would hope it's just a Legends thing, and maybe in Gen 10, in the base game of Gen 10, we'll be able to maybe pick which one we go for. Do we want to play the game strategically, or do we want to play the game live action? That would be an awesome choice to give the player. So anyway, guys, we've had a lot of details and a lot more footage from this new demo, and it looks absolutely incredible. Every time I see this game now, it makes me more and more excited to play Legends Z-A. So that's kind of my opinion on what we've seen today and what we've heard from the accounts of people like Cerebi, IGN, GameSpot, who have played this and kind of described their experience. How about you guys? What do you think? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. This is a day one for me now. Like, no question. I mean, it never was a question, because I always buy Pokemon games on day one anyway. But I actually think this is going to do a lot better than I initially thought maybe a couple of months ago in terms of sales figures and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know all of your thoughts down below, guys. And of course, leave a like and click the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you, gang. Bing.